All right, welcome. Today, we're doing a bit of a deep dive, a really rigorous structural analysis of a foundational text you probably know by heart. We're going to deconstruct a narrative that's known for its complex character introductions and its pretty intricate sonic mapping. So yeah, let's get into it.
So here it is. This is the primary source material for today. It starts, Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. This full verse, the one that introduces the very first asset, well, that's going to serve as our complete data set for this entire breakdown. And this really gets us to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? Is this thing just a simple little song for kids, or is it actually something way more sophisticated? We're going to argue that it's a total masterclass in narrative structure and how to present data and in mnemonic reinforcement.
Okay, so to get started, we've got to analyze the two main things established right in that opening line. These are the absolute pillars that the entire narrative is built on: the proprietor and, of course, the property itself.
The text gets right to it, introducing our protagonist, Old MacDonald. And you got to notice the specific language here. He's not just a manager or someone who rents the place. The verb had makes it crystal clear. This guy owns it. He is the central stakeholder, the axis that everything else is going to revolve around.
What this shows us is a really critical symbiotic relationship. I mean, you can't have one without the other. Old MacDonald is defined by being the owner of the farm, and the farm is defined by being his property. It's a totally closed economic and narrative system, and what's amazing is that it's all set up in just 5 words. That's efficiency.
And then we get this, E-I-I-I-O. Now this is not random. It's what you'd call a non-lexical vocable sequence. Basically, a series of sounds that don't have a literal meaning, but they work as this super powerful thematic identifier. It kind of bookends all the important information, like an audio punctuation mark that's telling you, hey, pay attention, something important was just said.
So let's move on and see how this all builds. With the owner and the property established, the text is ready for phase 2, cataloging the assets.
So the very first asset brought into this whole ecosystem is a cow. Not cows, plural, but a single, specific unit. This cow is basically the pilot case for how this whole narrative is going to introduce new things. It's the first entry in what we might as well call the farm's livestock portfolio.
And now we get to what is, without a doubt, the most data-intensive part of the whole verse. See, it's not enough to just say the asset exists. The text goes on to give us a really detailed report on its primary output, its auditory signature. The text lays out this really clear 3-phase model for sonic distribution. First up, you've got a localized sound event, a moo-moo here. That's immediately followed by a second, geographically separate event, a moo-moo there. And then phase 3 is where it all comes together. The big conclusion, based on the data. Everywhere a moo-moo. Total saturation.
And if you actually chart this information, you can see the quantifiable data that's just embedded right in the verse. The pattern is so clear. The frequency of the sound is high here, and it's equally high there. So, the conclusion? Total saturation. That sound is omnipresent. The really incredible part is just how rigorous this is. It's like a scientific method of observation and conclusion.
So, what does all this really mean? Well, when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, you realize this isn't just a verse about a man and a cow. It is a perfectly designed, completely modular framework.
We can call this the MacDonald narrative algorithm. It's a 6-step process, and it's infinitely repeatable. Think about it. You state the premise, you confirm it, you introduce a new variable, a new asset, and you confirm that. Then you give detailed data on that asset's key characteristic. And finally, you circle back and restate the original premise to close the loop. This structure means you can expand it forever. You can just slot in a pig, a duck, a chicken. The algorithm's stable, and it just keeps working.
So to wrap this all up, what looks like a simple song is in reality a perfectly engineered system. It's designed for you to retain the maximum amount of information through all that repetition and those mnemonic hooks, and it's built for maximum scalability because of its modular algorithmic structure. It is, and I'm not exaggerating here, a work of structural genius.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. If a children's song can pack in such a sophisticated and efficient design, what other seemingly simple things in our daily lives are actually operating as perfectly engineered systems, just waiting for us to take a closer look?